Alright guys, welcome back. So in this episode we are looking at how to create a form, okay, HTML form. Alright, so let's start. Let's begin with a comment, okay. The comment, there's a mistake here. Alright, so let's begin with the comments. So at the end of the audio tag, let's create our forms here. So we call it what? Form section. Okay, so to create a form, you need a form, okay? You need a form. But you can see that we put our video and audio in a container, okay? Our image and all those things in a container. So we want to get used to divs, okay? So that when you get to CSS, div will become more familiar. So let's do it with div, okay? Div, as I said before, is just a container, okay? So we are wrapping our contents inside a container. That is all. That is basically that. Anyway, so to create a form, you need a tag, okay, called form. You need a tag called form, okay. So after you get your tag called form, you need an action, okay. We need an action and method, okay. So both action and method, they worked in the server side, okay, or the database side, which we are not going to implement now, so we leave it like that, okay. Now the next thing to do is to give it a label. It's a tag. The label too is a tag, okay. So we ask ourselves, we need a label for what, okay. Then we said we need a label for first name, okay, first name. Then what we want to see there is what, maybe first name. It could be anything, okay, depending on what you want to create. Anyway, let me show you something. So you can see this is what we want, okay. So this is a form. This is HTML form, which we have used CSS to at least style it a bit. So you can see this is the label, what we need it for. Okay, so let's head towards our browser and let's refresh and see if we get anything at all. So you can see that we have a first name here. This is what I was talking about. Alright, so now we need an input with a placeholder, okay. So what is the input and what is the placeholder? Let's see it. So with the inputs, we want a type. Which type of input do we want? Then we said we want it as a text, okay. And the name, what should appear? Okay, so we said we want the input name to be what we say first name, okay. Make sure you use dash, don't use space, okay. Now we give it a placeholder. So what is a placeholder? Let's finish up. I'll show you. So the placeholder, we said first name, okay. Now let's save it and see how it turns in the browser. Refresh. Okay, so you can see, so this is the input. The input is what is the square that, or the size that it is giving us here, the rectangular shape that is giving us here. That is the input, and the placeholder is the first name here. So you can see from the, you can check from the code here, okay. Let me zoom in for you to see it well. Now you can see first name. So this is our label, and this is our input and our placeholder. So the placeholder is here, first name. What we type here, that is what you are seeing. So that you don't be confused in what to put there. Okay, so it is telling us to do what to put our first name, though you can go ahead and type your first name there, okay. So something like that. Okay, so we are going to give it a last name too, okay. Now that we have our first name, let's give it a last name. So in order not to do a lot of typing, if you don't like typing as my type, you can copy and paste, okay. Now so then let's change all the first to last, okay. Whatever you see first, change it to last. All right, so before we do anything, let's save it and refresh and see how it turns in the browser. Awesome. So you can see first name and last name. Okay, so you can add more functionalities to it. Okay, so here what I've done is that I've added a nickname. Okay, so you can see nickname at the third section. That's why we are seeing it here, nickname. Okay. All right. Okay, so before anything else, let's use a break tag, okay, or the BL tag to make our project look more awesome. So here I'll leave the BL like 2. Now let's save it and refresh and see. Okay, so now you can see that our form has been perfectly aligned, something like this. Now let's add more functionalities. Okay, so let's go ahead and add let's add the gender. Okay, so I can go ahead and create it direct, but for some reason I would like to put it in a container like a div. Okay, so like I said before, very soon we'll be introducing to the fullness of CSS, so you need to get familiar with divs. So it is just a container. I can do it without the div, but for some reasons let me use it for now. Okay, so I will still need the label. Okay, I will need the label and the for. So the for section I will do it gender. Now I'll do it gender. Okay, so gender, then I will say male. Okay, then here I will say male. Okay, and I will also need an input. I will need an input with a type of, so now with the gender the type will be radio. Okay, take note of that. Okay, it will be the gender should be radio. Now the name we give it what? Gender choice. So we say gender choice. Now instead of placeholder we give it what is called value, and the value will be your choice. Okay, so it could be any of your choice 1, choice 2, or whatever. So since it's the first one, let's make it choice 1. Before anything else, let's save it and see how it turns in the browser. Refresh. So you can see that we have it here. When you click on it, okay, that is the male. Let's go ahead and create the female section, which is very, very simple. We only have to grab the code. We duplicate it. So it was male, so now we say it's female. Okay, so let's change this one to be female. Then the gender choice, let's make it 2. All right, save it, refresh, and there we go, 1 and 2. So you can select either you are male or you are female. Awesome. All right, now let's add more. Okay, let's see how we can add our email or password. Okay, and I would like to add the email here. Okay, at the end of the nickname. Okay, that's where I want to place the email, and I would like to put it in a container, which is the div. Okay, so yes, once again you need to be introducing to the div more. So with the div I will still need a label with an input field. So if that be the case, then let me copy this one. Okay, so the input for I'll say email. Okay, sorry, I'll say email, and the name should be what? Email, and the type, say email, the name, I'll say email, and the placeholder I will say something like put in your email, or let's say type. Okay, type your email, let's add the address, type your email address. Now before anything, let's save it and see how that one turns also in a browser. So refresh. Okay, so we can see that we have the email here. Before we do anything else, let me put some heading. Okay, it deserves some heading. I can put something like H3. Let me put H3 or even H2. So H3 is okay. Then I'll give it a written like enter your email and password. Enter your email and password. Let's save it and see. Refresh. Okay, enter your email and a password. Then I think I will need the same header here at the form section. Then I will also change that one to registration form. I will save, refresh. Okay, something like this, registration form. So now we have our email here. Now let's go ahead and do same for our password. Okay, so we are doing same for our password. So I'll grab the same code, I'll copy, then I'll paste it here. I'll change the email to password. Alright, so let's save it. Alright, so refresh and see your password. Okay, so take note when you are typing the password, you see you cannot see. And when I click on the email, you can see that I can select from my already email that I've input here. So you can see it is working. So this is a password. The ratings are not visible because it's a password. All right. I think we have covered a lot for this lesson, but we are not through with the forms. Okay, so let's come back on the next tutorial and see how we can add more functionalities. Thank you.